This is Dante Williams, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, the word power in the sport of boxing today is often used by casual fans as somewhat of a consolation prize. Do you guys notice this? You always have some fan saying something like, yeah, Mayweather, he may be the best, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't have any power. He doesn't knock anyone out, and so on and so forth, right? Now, I know my fighter, he loses, but at least he loses with power, right? Like, power is a first-class ticket straight to the #1 pound-for-pound spot. These casual fans wish things worked that way. But unfortunately, the sport of boxing doesn't work that way. Because see, in the sport of boxing, it doesn't matter if you're the quickest, if you're the strongest, naturally bigger, the youngest, if it's your birthday, the night of the fight, whatever the case may be, if you lose, none of that shit matters. None of it matters. Okay? If Usain Bolt, the world's fastest man on the planet, was in a race right now and he smoked the competition, right? You're not going to hear fans say, I'm not impressed with Usain Bolt getting first place again. That does not impress me. Now I'll tell you what was really impressive. What was really impressive was the guy who finished in 4th place, who was built like a bodybuilder. I mean, did you see his huge biceps swinging back and forth when he was racing, trailing behind 3 other runners? That was impressive. See, but Usain Bolt, all he could do is just get first place. But he's still skinny as hell. He still doesn't have a muscle in his entire body. So it doesn't really matter if he's the best. Right? This is exactly how the decafs think. Right? Power, power, power. Bob Arum, who switches his stance more often than Andre Durrell switches from righty to lefty, of course, he threw out some more of the red meat to the dumbass base by basically stating that Manny Pacquiao got more knockdowns in the Algieri fight than Floyd Mayweather has gotten in 12 years. See, now I want people to understand this. Manny Pacquiao fans, I want you to understand this right now. When I expose what people like Bob Arum is saying right now, it's nothing really personal towards Manny Pacquiao. All I'm really doing is exposing the ignorance. Okay? Once again, when you come swinging a wild-ass punch at somebody, closing your eyes, putting your head down, leaving yourself wide open, you're going to most likely get caught with a huge fucking counter. Because you initiated the shit and then you left yourself wide open. Like Bob Arum just did with this ridiculous statement. What people like Bob Arum and the gang of decafs don't think about when they say stuff like this is, if you're going to talk about how many knockdowns Manny Pacquiao has gotten in one fight as opposed to how many Floyd Mayweather has gotten in, 10 or 12 years, wouldn't it also make sense to bring up the fact that Manny Pacquiao has also gotten knocked down 10 times more than Floyd Mayweather has gotten knocked down in, let's say, 18 years, right? I mean, if you really think about it, you start a conversation and it's one of those situations where you almost say to yourself, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have brought that up. Because once again, you fans have to understand something, or you have to ask yourself, Am I hurting Manny Pacquiao when I try to defend him? Or am I helping him out? You may be hurting him and you don't even know it. You don't even realize it. Like Bob Arum just did. Because when Bob Arum makes a statement like this, people are going to respond. And if they know anything about boxing, the first thing they're going to think of is what I just thought of. Wait a minute. Hasn't Manny Pacquiao been knocked down more times than Floyd Mayweather? Hasn't he been knocked out more times than Floyd Mayweather? Hasn't he lost overall more times than Floyd Mayweather? Right? These facts wouldn't have been brought up if old Bobby didn't go out and just try to throw this wild-ass sloppy haymaker, which leaves Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao wide open. And it wasn't even Manny Pacquiao's fault that this conversation even got started. Okay? Another thing I find interesting when we are talking about power and knockouts, knockdowns, so on and so forth. What's so amazing to me is how these fans once again try to use this consolation prize, talking about knockouts, talking about power. But even when they try to use this power excuse, this how many knockouts Mayweather's gotten in the last 6 years or whatever the case may be, what these casual fans don't realize is the last time Manny Pacquiao got a knockout was around the same time Floyd Mayweather got a knockout. Okay? Now, of course, we know that Floyd Mayweather, he got a more recent knockout when he knocked out Victor Ortiz. But because of the controversy and the boxing fans are so sensitive about Floyd Mayweather knocking out a guy who was trying to cheat and caught a bad case of karma, I'm going to be nice and I'm not even going to include that knockdown or knockout, I should say. And even though I say that, it's funny because we know if it was vice versa and Floyd Mayweather had got caught on camera deliberately trying to cheat, right? And then turned back around and he gets knocked the fuck out because now the guy has retaliated in a legal way and Floyd Mayweather is laying on the ground out for the count. How many of these same fans do you think would scream bloody murder? Yelling out, that's some bullshit. That wasn't a real knockout. No, we know exactly what they'd be saying. They would be saying, that's what your cheating ass get. That's what you get, Mayweather. We know this to be the case, but we also know what time it is. So let's move on. Let's act like the Victor Ortiz knockout, it doesn't exist. Now, if we do that, would it surprise you if I told you the last time Manny Pacquiao got a knockout was around the same time Floyd Mayweather got a knockout? And not only that, but what's so funny about this is the last time these two fighters got a knockout, I mean a real knockout, it was against the same opponent, Ricky Hatton. How crazy is that, right? Now, I know Manny Pacquiao, he got like a TKO against Miguel Cotto real late in the fight where, you know, they could have easily let the fight continue, but they decided not to for whatever reason. I'm not including that because I'm talking about a real, you know, out for the count type knockout, right? Or a technical knockout. The last time Manny Pacquiao got a knockout is the last time Floyd Mayweather got a knockout, okay? Another point I wanted to make in response to what Bob Arum said, he's talking about fighters getting a whole bunch of knockdowns. Would it surprise you guys if I told you one of the greatest fighters of all time, Muhammad Ali, could also be criticized for the exact same thing that Bob Arum is criticizing Floyd Mayweather for? A lack of knockdowns. So let's crunch the numbers when it comes to Muhammad Ali. Now, we all know that Muhammad Ali, he fought Ken Norton 3 times a total of 39 rounds. Ask me how many times he knocked down Ken Norton. Not one single time. Now, George Foreman, on the other hand, he fought Ken Norton one time. And that fight only lasted 2 rounds. You guys know how many times George Foreman knocked down Ken Norton? He knocked him down 3 times. Okay? Let's look at the Joe Frazier comparison. Muhammad Ali, he fights Joe Frazier 3 times. A total of 41 rounds. Once again, how many times did he knock down Joe Frazier? Not one single time. But George Foreman, he fights Joe Frazier and he knocks Joe Frazier down 6 times in 2 rounds. Then he gives him a rematch later on and he knocks him down 2 times in 5 rounds. Okay? So that's a total of 8 knockdowns and only 7 rounds combined. Now, when I give you all of that math, if you didn't know the history, you probably would automatically come up with the conclusion that George Foreman was better than Muhammad Ali. And if you did come up with that conclusion, you would be dead wrong. Because with all that math of George Foreman getting all those knockdowns as opposed to Ali not getting one single knockdown against the same 2 opponents, fast forward to present day, who are we now calling the greatest of all time? It damn sure ain't George Foreman, right? Another point I wanted to make is everyone is known for something. Everyone specializes in something in life. Not just boxing, but in life in general, right? In boxing, Manny Pacquiao is known for his speed and his power. So if you're known for having power, people expect you to get knockouts, right? Because that's what you specialize in. When it comes to Floyd Mayweather is known for his intelligence, his ring generalship, his boxing ability, his boxing IQ, right? So when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, you wouldn't expect anyone to go in the ring and make Floyd Mayweather look like a dumb fighter, outthink him, outbox him maybe for 6 or 7 or 8 rounds, whatever. Because that is what Floyd Mayweather specializes in, is using his brain and outthinking you. If Superman lived in my town, and we obviously know what Superman specializes in, he specializes in saving people's lives, being the superhero. And if you're living in my town and you're having a very difficult time saving lives, then your ass is fired from the job. The point I'm making is Floyd Mayweather, he excels in what he specializes in. Okay? Now, Manny Pacquiao, on the other hand, he excels in the speed department. And I'll say this as well. It's really not Manny Pacquiao's fault. We shouldn't be blaming this on Manny Pacquiao. But the problem, once again, is when dumbass fans, they start bringing up who's knocking people out and so on and so forth, it shines a light on their own fighter, which is Manny Pacquiao. But if it wasn't for them shining a light on, these type of issues, it wouldn't even really be that big of a deal. But being that as it may, the bottom line is Manny Pacquiao, he wants to get a knockout. Freddie Roach desperately wanted him to get a knockout, and he still hasn't gotten one. He's gotten knockdowns, but Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao, they want knockouts. Now, to Manny Pacquiao's defense, he looked very strong in the Algieri fight. Okay? I could easily see him knocking some guys out. The power is there, but the intelligence to go to that next level and figure out a puzzle when you are very close to solving it, that intelligence is not there for Manny Pacquiao.